Good evening. Very warm welcome back to round 2 of the multi-class GT3, GT4 TOGA racing. Cannot wait for this. This is going to be awesome. We are streaming both. Oh, so it is. Yeah, so I realised there was an issue with one of the... Let me put this... There we go. That's better. Thank you very much for that. Hello to Twitch and hello to YouTube. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to read out your messages in a minute. So we have got 20 minutes, it's now 13 minutes left of free practice. We then have 30 minutes of qualifying, 15 minutes, first 15 minutes is GT4, second 15 minutes is GT3, and then after that it's going to be a 50-minute race with GT3 and GT4 cars all on the track at Brands Hatch at the same time. Hello BB Lightfoot Billy, how's it going? Fresh meat here. You'll be fine, you'll be absolutely fine, just race your own race. George, good evening, hope you're doing well. Chess, hello, good evening. Fernando Racing, hello. Joshua Higginson, hello. I hope everybody's well. And over on Twitch, Gecko, good evening, I hope you are well. And Mr. Dexter, who very well saw that I had a small screen on. Okay, yeah, there was an issue last week with one of the extensions in OBS, and it changed my output to 1920 instead of 144. Anyway, that being said, let's have a very quick look at the driver standings. We have had one race so far, but I think we could all agree that it was somewhat of an amazing race. So the GT3 standings at the moment, we've got Anders Unmundsen in P1. We've got Fran Garcia in second place with Matt Redfern in P3. Mr. Samuel Brackstad, P4. Mr. Peter Romeo, P5. Dries Verhulst in 6th. Elias in 7th. David Amandalis in 8th. Mr. George Stevens himself in P9. And Brian Ritz in P10. What? Jess, you have your headphones turned to max. You can barely hear the stream over the hockey game law. It's so loud here. Oh man. I don't want to blow everybody's eardrums off on one go. George, final night of the shift, so not able to race. Oh, George. Oh man. That is GT3. The GT4s. Let's have a look at them. In P1, we've got Lucas Lichten. P2, we've got Callan Jones. In third place, we've got Lucas Hannock. Number 4, we've got our very own Eric Berg. P5 is Graham Potter. P6, Ryan O'Sullivan. P7, Tomas Wonder. P8 is Andreas Moberg. P9, Finn Fett. I nearly got all the names what I thought sounded right there. And Billy Stewart in P10. So this is going to be an exciting race, and I am absolutely honoured to share it with our very first female commentator. I'd like you to have a warm welcome to Zita. Hello, Zita.
Hello.
Hello. Are you well?
I am doing well. Somewhat excited. Multi-class GT racing is always an exciting watch.
Yes, absolutely. It really is. George, you're going to miss a following race as well, as you will be in Brussels. Oh, very nice. Davida, good evening. Good luck in your race tonight, my friend. Julius, you absolute legend. I hope you're doing okay, my friend. Sending you lots of love. Tell us Season 2 champions. I can't tell you that. That's a commentator's secret. Ches, you realise the hockey team from the town next over to you are playing their home games at your local ice rink. Ah, nice. Nice. It is going to be an exciting race, and we spoke about this just before the stream started, that there's a lot of fast drivers on this track, whether it be GT3, GT4. It's going to be madness. Absolute madness. And don't forget, we have live stewarding tonight as well. I'll just very quickly run through the procedures that we have in place at TOGA, specifically for, some of the rules are specifically for multi-class. If a car, so if GT4 is ahead of a GT3, if the gap is less than 0.4 of a second, if they're on a straight, GT4 should indicate whether it's left or right and move in the direction of indicated to allow the GT3 past. If they're on a corner, they follow their own line. They don't worry about the GT3, they just need to pick their time to get past. For that, let me just get to the actual correct page. There we go. We have one red flag tonight. So if 20% of the grid crash in the first, I think it's first 2 sectors, then the race will be stopped. There'll be a red flag come up in the in-game chat by the stewards. All cars will then go back slowly to the pits. They will wait, then the race will be reset and started from the qualifying positions. If there's the same crash happens in the second race, then unfortunately the drivers need to deal with it. There's only one red flag for this. So, Julius, Owen GT3 and Lucas GT4. Owen's not in this championship, Julius. It's too close to call, it really is. Lucas, I think Lucas is really... he's looking good for GT4, but it is we're only in race 1, so we'll wait and see. Oh, is this season? Oh, of course, this is season 3. Sorry, my apologies, Julius. I'm getting all kinds of mixed up here. That's why I've got Zeta here. Zeta will keep me right on everything to do with what I'm saying.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, you were telling us the champions. Apologies. So, yeah, Owen Cripps on the very last... It was almost the last lap of the last race of the championship. Won the GT3 and Lucas won the GT4. Thank God you're here, Julius. That is all I am going to say. Yeah, so... Have you seen much multi-class Zeta at Brands Hatch before?
Do try to follow the series that are on British GT when it's around. Is always a good watch.
Yep.
Around the UK, so that's always a laugh. The haven't managed to see it much in person. If anything really in person at Brands, but it is very much always an exciting race whenever we do see anything.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is quite a bumpy track, so there has to be a little bit of give and take when it comes to setups. You want the car as low as possible, but you don't want it so low that it bottoms on any of the bumps. Yeah,
no, it's I've seen a number of drivers. We were racing here a couple of weeks ago, and we saw a number of drivers when it was announced because it was a random track at the end of the season.
Right, okay.
And the load of people going, oh, it's an awful track, it's only good for hot lapping. No, it's only good for hot lapping because you have to actually drive and learn to know where people are.
Yeah.
And you have to... It's a really easy track to defend that because it's very narrow, and it's one of those tracks you probably won't see much in the way of off track limits abuse because, well, just following Romeo in the Aston Martin at the moment and going down through Pilgrim's Drop, you've got nowhere to go when it goes wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, if you end up off track, you are in a... You're on the grass.
Yeah,
there's not acres of tarmac here. So you do have to think, ooh, that's some rally crossing and a half. Somebody's giving it some willy there.
Yeah.
But you do have to think about it and pick and choose. You can, as somebody who's defending against somebody, it's really easy to just whack people up into each other.
Yep.
But to get past, you have to pick and choose your moments, and it's going to be properly interesting how some of these really quick drivers how they will go about picking their way through the slower cars come the point of lapping, because probably before unless there's any major damage, I would guess that before the pit stops, we're going to see the GT3s catching up with the GT4s.
Yep.
So they're very much going to be in the midst of fairly early race battles. I'm still having to navigate the way through that with very little space. And having followed sports cars and stuff for a while, this is very much a track where traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. You can lose seconds as much as you can gain them by getting past and being let past at the right place or the wrong place.
Absolutely. And we've seen the battles in the past with TOGA championships where it really has come down to track position and where and when to pick and choose your battles, really. It's such a fine line between being on the edge and dipping your tyres onto the grass or anything else that is just going to ruin your race. So it's absolutely imperative drivers are on point with the driving tonight. Davida, that's going to be so much trouble getting over the traffic, not just because you crashed right now. It must be a commentator's curse again, Davida, because I just happened to be watching you when that happened, so... Oh my... Yeah, Ches, absolutely can't wait to have you back in the booth next week. As we can see again, GT3s and GT4s mingling together on track with Stephen Fast there. I know. Last season it was Tippy Boss. Every time I went to Tippy Boss, something happened to him. So yeah, I'm now taking advice that if you don't want to be on the stream, you might actually win. So oh man, Mando for the championship. Well, you know, you just never know. Davida is a good racer. Peter looks like he's right on the limit of things and then slightly more. But at the moment, this is practice, but Peter has set a fastest lap of 1:23.9, which is really interesting. Now we've got a bigger, we've got what, maybe one or two cars more than last round, so that's good to see from this. So yes, let's make sure we've got lots of love in the chat, on both chats for Zita tonight. Zita has a lot more knowledge than I do, so she will be keeping me right and keeping you guys up to date as well.
Sorry, I just had a bit of a squeal because I watched the GT3 McLaren and the GT4 McLaren enter a corner both simultaneously sideways.
Oh dears, I hate that kind of...
Looked like everybody got away with it, but yeah, that's not recommended.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. It's it's just going to be really exciting, you know. And at the moment, the track temperature is 35 degrees, with an air temperature of 29.
Oh, those GT3s are going to chew their left-hand sides up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's going to hurt across the top of the circuit.
And
that's really going to hurt.
I'm sure that choosing the right time for pit as well is going to be crucial for this, especially with the entrance and exits. We've seen previous races where drivers have been on the outside of another car and then decided to pit. And unfortunately then pitted the car that they were on the other side of the track from. So it's all going to be very interesting, but we've got a 25-minute pit window and there's a mandatory tyres and fuel stop. So it won't be a splash and dash as such.
Yeah, so they will be, they're all limited to, basically it's a time-sensitive 30-second stop.
Yeah.
That will basically only go up if you need damage repairing at this point.
Absolutely.
If it was tyres only, if it was fuel only, I can see people potentially trying to go easy on the car early on, and run a very, very short stop towards the end of the race.
Yep.
But given that it's tyres as well, I think everybody's just going to give it everything, and go to hell with the tyres. It's only 25 minutes.
Absolutely. Good evening, Callum. Good luck for the race tonight. It is very, very close with everybody. And can you imagine, Zeta, if we added GT2s into this mix as well? You had 3 classes racing at Brands Hatch.
I do. Oh, the carnage that would ensue would probably make for genuinely amazing watching. However, I feel sorry for the people on track. I think there's going to be limited numbers, actually possibly limited numbers of tracks you can get all 3 of them on.
Yep, absolutely.
However, I'm excited to see those cars coming in because they are really good. Being that they're faster in a straight line than the GT3s, but they have nowhere near the aero grip. They're closer to a GT4 in terms of aero. Believe it or not, even with things like the KTM and the Audi with those huge wings and splitters on them, they don't actually produce that much aero because basically that's all the aero they get.
Yeah.
The GT3s do a lot more underneath the car than they do over the GT2. So whenever you see them in any other races, they always pose an interesting challenge. But it might make I will try that again because my teeth fell out. It should make for possibly an easier entry into to multi-class and this style of racing because whilst the GT4s are great, they do to some degree have their own problems in that they are still a very fine-tuned race car.
Yep.
Just following the Mercedes here is mechanically some of the cars are closer to their road cars and some of the components are closer to the race cars that the GT3s that they also run.
Yep.
So that can make some interesting handling traits for both cars, and it can make them actually a little bit finicky to set up. Whereas things like the Mercedes GT2 basically largely is a stripped out road car. So it's going to make for an interesting setup. The Super Trofeo cars, the latest generation of those is homologated into it. Slightly different balance for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But they're closer to their road-going counterparts actually than a GT4. So in terms of an amateur entry, it's... Excuse me, sorry. It could make for a very interesting way of getting more people into sport, into the GT side of things.
Yep.
Without being necessarily quite as finicky or as scary as a GT4, because GT4 still require you to carry a lot of corner speed to carry the momentum. Whereas if you've got the 700 odd horsepower that the GT2s are rated for, if all else fails, just mat it. Just as long as the car is pointing in the straight line and you have traction, just boot it, and it'll probably sort itself out.
Good evening, Peter. Peter over on YouTube says evening to Zeta and Mac. So good evening, Peter. Good luck for the race. You are looking mighty quick out there tonight, Mr. Romeo. George, you know that NSX GT3 shares 90% of its components with the road car? I do like the NSX, I have to say.
It is a very nice car. Again, it's all to do with the homologation rules. So the Porsche, it's one of the reasons the road car Porsche is as nuts as it is. Because again, they've just chosen to pretty much make the road car as much of the race car, and to hell with driver comfort.
It's not like Porsche not to look after the drivers.
So yeah, they again, there's a lot of, because there's a certain percentage of the road car that's required. You're allowed things like brakes and suspension uprights and things like that are allowed to change. There's just a huge increase in load between a road going shop and a race car shop.
Yep, absolutely.
We to qualifying now.
Yeah, so
we are.
we are in qualifying, and Hannock is leading at the moment. He is just about to set a second fast lap of the qualifying. His sun is out. It's 36 degrees on track at the moment. That's ready to put a couple of eggs out there and just let them fry. So at the moment we've got Hannock, who's in P1. In fact, Mr. Callum Jones has just pipped him there with a 131.7. He is 2.5 tenths quicker at the moment. Gasolina is in P3 with Graham Potter P4, Ryan O'Sullivan P5, Lucas Lichten in P6, Wonder in P7, and I need to find out how to pronounce his name, Fett in P8. So it looks like we have 11 GT4s racing tonight. Dunker Volk, Mass and Stewart have still to set a fastest lap yet for that, but the sun is out in Brands Hatch and it is just looking amazing. That everything is set up for such an amazing race tonight. We know that the GT3, GT4s can always throw up some spectacular races as we go along. So the rule again is after the 14th minute, if before the clock reaches 14 minutes, the GT4 has crossed the line for a fast lap, then they can continue. However, anyone after that crosses the start-finish line after 14 minutes must return to the pits as quickly as possible. Because as soon as the clock hits 15 minutes, you can bet your bottom dollar day GT3s will be begging to be let loose on this track. And it doesn't look like Hannock is able to beat Jones yet. He has got it down to 0.05 of a second difference. P1 and P2 about 0.3 ahead of everyone else at the moment. So certainly that Ginetta is looking better for here than it was in Paul Ricard. Obviously the speed difference on it was heartbreaking to watch, I think, if you're a Ginetta fan. But
that's a brave move at Paul Ricard.
Yeah,
that is a brave move with Paul Ricard on the track, on the calendar.
We did discuss whether it was a brave move or a clever move, because the Ginetta is better suited to some of the other tracks that are in the calendar. So do you take the pain in Paul Ricard?
Well, is it pain though? Because whilst going down that back straight you lose so much time, the car is so quick through the corners because it just doesn't weigh anything. And it's even the fact that the car in its stock form is very, very light. And tonight it's got an extra 9 kilos of ballast to remove.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's going to, it's an interesting choice of car. Yes, it's going to have hurt at Paul Ricard, but like you say, somewhere like this, which is a lot tighter, that might not be the worst idea.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely paying dividend. We'll admit, a little bit of a Ginetta fan. They are very cool.
They're a lovely looking car. Good evening, Mr. Toga, although I would have to say if the boss is in the house, I'm assuming Hayden's wife has got hold of the chat. But good evening. Hope you're doing well, Hayden. Yeah, it's mighty close. I mean, I have to say I love the GT4s. I ran in a championship a couple of years ago with just GT4s, and it was so good. It's as you said earlier on, Zita, is about carrying as much speed through the corners because you don't have the same aerodynamic grip as you do with a GT3, and Jones is absolutely sliding that car all over the place just now, trying to find as much grip and time as he can. Just having a look further down just to see all GT4s have now.
It does look like everybody's set times.
They have, yep, absolutely. So we have the top 11 out of the 29 grid setting fastest laps at the moment, and I can't really see Lucas Lichten in that McLaren is about 0.2 faster at the moment, but that's I don't think he's going to be able to even get into the top 3 with that time at the moment. So Lucas was very strong in the last race, but maybe the McLaren's not quite as suited for brands.
Probably the car itself is a lot slipperier.
Yeah.
So it probably was quite happy at Paul Ricard.
Yeah.
Might be struggling a little bit more here. Similarly, the McLarens haven't been quite as quick as they have in other circuits. I think they struggle with needing a car that's quite compliant. You're seeing a lot of these cars moving around, actually quite a lot, and you need a car that's reasonably happy doing that. The UK tracks here and Alton in particular very much favour cars that like to be able to move around on their suspension and like to be able to move around on their tyres.
Yep.
Just because the tracks are so rough.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I would consider this to be smooth in comparison to Alton.
Yes. Oh, wow.
And you can see just how much the cars are bouncing around still.
Yep.
So it's definitely a different style of car in comparison to the rest of the grid. So.
And certainly, if you had to compare it out and out straight line speed to, say, the Ginetta, it's such a faster car. So it is.
It's very much it's a much slipperier car through the air.
Yep.
Downside being is that the way that GT4s are balanced is it's gonna suffer in other places.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's one of the cars that shares a good chunk of its suspension with its GT3 counterpart. So that the GT3 is not so great over the bumps either.
Yep. Lucas getting a bit wide there. He did hear me though. He managed to eke himself into P3 at the moment, but he's going very, very wide. He's pushing that McLaren possibly past its limit. Your lovely commentary. Thanks very much. I'm assuming you're talking about Zita, not myself, Hayden. Mrs. Toga is out tonight. Oh man, I absolutely love Lucas. Even his livery is amazing. It's amazing.
Brilliant.
The crying emoji.
Livery.
Oh, so we have about 2 minutes left, and at the moment we've got Callum Jones in P1, Hannock P2, and Lucas Lichten in P3.
It is all. I would say it's all to play for, particularly around here from 5th up.
Yes, absolutely.
5th up, it's very easy to make that 3/10 up.
Yep.
I mean, 500th, sorry.
500th, yeah.
Between first and second. Like, this is why we watch GT racing is... This is what comes out of it is, you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 manufacturers.
Yep.
And they're all within just over half a second in the top 6. Like, the biggest gap we get is it starts to string out past that, but it's still not a big gap. No,
not at all. And we obviously at TOGA, we run custom bops, so the cars will be closer together for it as well. But we saw that in Paul Ricard, although the McLarens kind of dominated, but that is what it is at the end of the day. Zita touched on it earlier on, and the fact that as much as you can put a bop onto it, if the car is just so well suited for a track, it's still going to outperform the rest. Davide, you love the crying emoji every time Mr. Lichten passes in front of the cameras. I just love it. It's just perfectly for that car. I just love it. Absolutely love it. Good luck to everybody who's racing tonight. I hope you all have an amazing race. We're going to enjoy watching you. You all have to get into the car, Mr. Peter Romy. I hope we've got about 600 fans all around you to try and stop the mass sweatiness that's going to ensue for 50 minutes. If you're eating your dinner, then I do apologise, but UK time is 8 o'clock, so there's no excuse. This is really good. So this is us. Basically, we're looking towards who is still on a lap at the moment. Hannock's come into the pits. Lucas is still out. Lucas passed. No, I think Lucas is still going for it. He is 110 slower. Graham Potter ever so slightly faster than his fastest lap at the moment. He's pushing.
I was going to say Potter's up. I am really sorry. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, and I'm going to butcher this, but Donker?
Donkervolk.
That's the one, Donkovolk. You are 3/10 up on your current lap
Ooh.
time. So you've backed out.
No, I think he completed. He moved up to 7th.
Ooh, yes, you have. I was looking at all the screens at once and missed that. So yes, well done. You pulled yourself up.
Absolutely.
Who else is still out there? Sullivan's still out there. You up. You are. Ooh, you just slipped into being a 10th down.
So first GT3 out is Peter Romeo, and he's got Ritz behind him in a beautiful Ferrari. So this is GT3 part of it, and something I do have to say for people that don't quite understand what's going on. Us commentators, it's not a case of us just sitting down and watching a screen and talking about it. We've got the stream to run, we've got chats to watch, we've got race control software to run, we've got stewarding spreadsheets to watch. There's so much for us to do, and I'm not complaining, but I want people to be aware that if we do make a little bit of mistake or you know, we miss something, it's genuinely because of that. It's not because we don't think something is worthy of being talked about from that. But I'm really interested to see us, because I had a quick look in the practice server just before the race server went live, and Peter Romeo was a 123.7, I think. He was the fastest man on the track, and he was the same in the free practice just before qualifying. So if you're a betting man, maybe Peter Romeo's the man to put a little bit of money on tonight. Dexter, you can't wait to meet Barry R. Ooh. Oh, Billy, your game just crashed. Oh, no. Hopefully he can get back in time. So this is Peter's first flying lap that he's going for, hugging that curb as he gets his foot down. That I always end up oversteer coming out of the hairpin. I always need to be very mindful about my right foot for some reason, but I think that's more a skill issue than anything else.
It's easy done around here. Some of the curbs are very unforgiving, particularly the cars that prefer a slightly lower diff preload. It's very easy to light the rears up on corner exit.
Yep.
Particularly if you get it over a curb, it just unweights the car slightly and it will just light a tyre up. Normally the one that's got less traction on the curb, and you're a passenger before you know what's happened.
Yep. And then you're watching barrier, grass, sky. Oh, not necessarily in that order, but you know.
Sky floor.
That's it. So Peter just coming up to the last corner now before he comes on to the start-finish straight. You can hear the tyres complaining bitterly as he's going round that corner. Try and get as much power down as he possibly can. What is going to be his first lap? A 123.9. That is pretty much what he was setting before. So
might very well be a one and done from him.
It very well could be. We've got Samuel Brackstad who's come into P2, Verhulsen P3, Ritz P4, and Davide Mandalisi in P5 at the moment. So, Mr. Toga's just given out 5 memberships on YouTube. A very big thank you to Hayden for that. That was very kind. If you have been gifted a membership, if you could give a thank you, that would be amazing. Just so we know that you were here and you got it, and some of the drivers have got it, so amazing. It's all kicking off.
Hypnotisement, thank you so much for becoming a member.
Van der Broeken in the Lambos had a moment somewhere on the back end of the circuit.
Oh, man.
Danish Alonso, thank you so much for becoming a member.
The top 7, 6 of them are McLarens again. I know we're not finished, but that, I mean, that
Lego Dimensions, thank you so much for becoming a member.
So it does, and in fact, our fastest lap is a 123.7 by Edmondson. Who you know is
Davide Mandalisi, thank you so much for becoming a member.
Moment. So Peter Romeo really trying to push that Aston Martin, trying to figure out where, if he can. Ooh, where he can find any time. He'll be watching that timing screen and he'll know that he is in the top 3, but anyone who sim races know you don't want to be P3, you want to be P1 regardless. Everybody looks
yeah,
like...
this is going to be an interesting start here, because it's, well, anybody that has seen GT, certainly British GT, with the multiple classes, and also GT World Challenge Europe when they come here, yeah, all bets are off as to what's going to happen when those lights go green.
Absolutely. And I always say this, and I bore people by saying this, but consistency will always outwin a fastest driver. If a fastest driver is inconsistent lap by lap, and you've got someone slightly slower, but they're consistent, consistency is going to beat every time. So it is.
Completely. It's what gets you getting to the end.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the first fight.
You need to be in it to win it.
Yeah, you can very much, any track, certainly somewhere like this, you can never win it on the first lap on the first corner.
No.
But by God, you can lose it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It just takes a momentary lapse of concentration, a rush of blood to the head, anything, a distraction. It could be anything at all, but, you know, and that's where you see whether it's real life GT racing, when it's endurance competitions, where drivers are having to go an hour, 2 hours of out and out concentration. You know, that takes time to build up. You know, it's like going to the gym and working out. You can't become a Mr. Olympia overnight. It takes time to do that. But
yeah, like any of these cars,
yep.
It doesn't matter how well a car suits a track, to take it to its absolute limit takes a huge amount of effort.
Absolutely.
Now, granted, we're not sat here actually doing this for real, so you don't necessarily get quite the battering that you do in these cars for real.
Yep.
But some of these direct drive systems are not exactly friendly to you.
Absolutely.
So if you are pretty much as this lot's going to be going for the race, you're going to be doing 50 minutes of qualifying lap. And yeah, being consistent. If you can just consistently clock off the laps and keep going, you'll make up time just by other people having problems.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, 25 just bailed coming out of Sheen.
No.
Already.
So there's a few back into the pits. Elias Fernando up into P4 at the moment. Elias is a very, very quick driver, especially at McLaren. The funny story is we did there's a Ferrari 488 getting all kinds of wrong there. We did a giveaway for Coach Dave Academy Delta, which we are sponsored by, and the person to win it on YouTube was a woman called, I think she was called Anita, and then we did the driver interviews, and it turns out Anita, it was Elias's mother who was downstairs and just happened to put her name into the giveaway, and when Elias went downstairs, his mum went, "Oh, I just won this, what is it?" So Elias has got we're assuming Elias has got it, not his mother, at the end of the day, but quite a character, so he is. But I mean, yeah, I'm astounded to see so many McLarens in the top 10. It's, yeah,
It's definitely seeming to be the car everybody's happy with.
Yeah. Yep. I have to admit, I'm a McLaren man myself. It's probably most laps I've ever spent in a car is with a McLaren, so I absolutely love it. It's just, for me, such a beautifully balanced car, and yeah, it's my go-to car. But I
mean, flip side is completely the opposite. We've never managed to get the head around it.
No.
Never managed to get the balance up.
And don't get me wrong,
in any way, shape or form with it, so...
It's a really bad braking car, you know, it can be out-braked by almost every other car in the track. But just for me, it just is pitch perfect. So it is.
Again, that's what, to some degree, what makes this racing so good, is yes, the top 6 out of the top 7 cars are all McLarens, but There's still Porsches, Ferraris, BMWs, and Aston Martin in that. There is a car for everybody. And just because
Absolutely.
one car suits somebody, it doesn't mean to say it's going to suit everybody.
Yep.
And again, you see that diversity all the way through, irrespective of where you go.
Absolutely. I mean, just out of the top 10, we've got 3 Ferraris, 9th, 10th and 11th.
Yep.
I'm just having a look to see if they are all 296s.
2 296s and 3 296s.
Yep. And then a 488 and 16th.
488 down in 16, yes.
So we're back with the Belgium racing team. Now, they have got 3 drivers in the championship, I believe. Faas, Ritz, and I can't remember who the third one is yet, do forgive me, but it's a beautiful livery they've got. Very classy. But they were racing the Aston Martin last season, and it looks like they switched over to the certainly Ritz has switched over to the 296, and Faas has as well. So
That gold, black and red.
And Mr. Romeo has managed to put himself to second. With
That's getting tight. 0.085.
yeah, 8/10ths of a 800ths of a second. As he just comes onto the start-finish line again, he is 2/10ths down on his fastest lap. We've got Garcia in the McLaren, who was going a little bit faster, but he's got another McLaren just ahead of him.
3 to 400 off at the moment.
Yep.
I was just going to have a quick look and see who, as we were talking about it, who is being consistent. I can't seem to look at the lap times for the individual people.
There is probably a way, but I think you probably need to do it through ACC rather than through race control.
I was trying to do, but it doesn't let me select an individual. Oh well.
Yeah. So yeah, Garcia, yeah, he's unfortunately not going to improve on that one. Faas is 5/10ths faster now, so that could pop him up into P9, maybe even P8. So let's see if he can keep. Oh, unfortunately, he's lost all. Commentators curse again. He's lost all of that time. Pateron is 4/10ths, but yeah, he's Bruno raced in several championships last season, and he is a good driver. Yeah, so he's 3.5/10ths up at the moment. Can he? That would certainly leapfrog over quite a few cars.
A number of people.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. That might even put him inside the top 10.
There you go. P10.
There you go, 10.
Some beautiful math work's been used there.
That's all my math. That's all the math you're gonna get tonight. It's gonna work out. We're not normally that good.
Garcia was 4/10ths up and then lost it onto the grass. That would have.
It's so easy done around
It
this
is,
track.
absolutely.
You dip a tyre at the wrong point, and it's game over.
He clearly knows where he's faster. It's just as we talked about earlier on, being that fine line between being on the edge and being over it. Let's see if he can improve this time. If he carried that amount of time onto the start-finish line, he would have been P1. So
Yeah.
all the lights switched on so everybody can see him coming. Hopefully keep out his way. At the moment, just under 1/10. He seems to be gaining time again. Let's just see if that can continue. Faas is, who's sitting in P10 at the moment,
Almost half a second up.
almost half a second up, and that would put them up into not quite the top 5, but maybe P6 or P7.
Yeah, because they're 1.1 back at the moment, so as is the case with a lot of these, as the fuel burns off, the lap times get quicker.
Yep. track
There's
rubbers
still going to be
in.
a little bit of management going on, particularly if you realise you're not on a fast lap.
Yep.
This is a track, particularly with the temperatures we've got. 37 track temperature, that's brutal.
And
Out
fast.
around the back of the circuit, from Hawthorne round to Sheen,
Yep.
you are going to be chewing through your left-hand side tyres.
Absolutely.
Anybody that hasn't really driven this circuit, if you think Barcelona's the second, third corner at Barcelona's bad for chewing your tyres, it's got nothing on this track.
Oh.
Because you are bouncing all over the place as well. If you get it wrong, coming out of one or two of the through Westfield Dingledale,
Yep.
you can literally jump the entire width of the track.
Absolutely.
If you hit a bump wrong, you get a curve wrong, and you are literally going sideways across the track, airborne.
You can pretty much guarantee you're going to end up back in the pits, because you'll, although you've got grass, the barriers aren't that far from the edge of the track. So
no, there is. I think I'm going to bring it up now, so it's all done over and done with.
Sounds like
I think
confession.
there's going to be a lot of people somewhat annoyed at the Nordschleife when it turns up in a couple of weeks' time, because that track is really unforgiving.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That is literally tarmac, grass, wall, and in places you don't even have a car's width to get it end up on the grass.
Absolutely. I'm just watching Garcia. He was 0.3 up, which would leapfrog him into P2. He's just... Oh, now this is going to be very close.
Ooh, this is tight.
This is very tight. I think he's going to get P2, but he's going to be very close behind Edmondson. He does into P2 with 0.03 of a second difference. Wow.
Three, all separated by less than a tenth.
Wow. Garcia really, that was he was threatening to do it, and he managed to do it, but oh my word, what a way to finish qualifying. So let me run you through the qualification for GT3, and if Zeta doesn't mind, she could maybe run you through the GT4 classifications. P1, we've got Abelson with a 123.4. P2 is Garcia, Peter Romeo in P3, Samuel Brackstad in P4 was McLaren, Sleen in P5, Fernando in P6, Verhulst P7, Fast P8, Miaza in P9, Cray in P10, Battigle in P11, Ritz P12, David Amandalisi in 13th, Van der Spue in 14th, Vandenbroek in 15th, Kuhn in 16th, Folerio in 17th, and Shaper in 18th.
I'll turn my mic back on. So GT4, we have Jones in first with a 131.7. Then we have Hank in second, 131.8. Lichten in third, Gasolina in fourth, Potter in fifth, O'Sullivan in sixth, Donkervolk in seventh, Twanda I'm really sorry, I am butchering these names. Wanda in eighth, Bedell, I really am sorry. In ninth, Mass in 10th, Stewart in 11th, and Moberg in 12th. Moberg, incidentally, didn't actually set a time in qualifying. Now, whether that's foregoing, it's not the worst idea. Not going out, starting from the back of the grid, and then letting the carnage ensue in front of you may not be the worst idea.
Absolutely.
It's definitely it was actually something we were quite happy in the end, ended up being quite happy about with our qualifying at Monza, which didn't work out last time we were out there. And we ended up just not posting a lap because your car's trimmed out and sketchy as anything there. So it's very easy to drop a wheel in the wrong place. And yeah, there was a couple of times in bits of the track where in the first couple of laps, where it felt like the parting of the waves of the cars just ended up on the side of the track.
Yep.
So yeah, not necessarily the worst of ideas, whether they didn't set the lap because of, I will double I can't double check that, whether that was didn't settle out because of disallowed, or whether that was just chose not to go out. So that will be an interesting one to follow as to how much they can pick their way back through the field.
Yep, absolutely.
It's certainly not the worst tactic, especially it's something you see people do at some of the big endurance races, Bathurst and what have you, not IRL, but when you see the sim racing community do it, if they don't have a great qualifying, they'll hide down at the back of the grid or start from the pit lane.
Yep, absolutely.
And save themselves the turn 1, turn 2 carnage.
Yep, absolutely. Good luck to everyone who's racing tonight, everyone who's in chat. I hope you are all enjoying this so far. It's certainly a pleasure for Zita and myself to be commentating on this. Now we've got formation lap round where they'll bunch up nearer the end, getting ready to go. And again, we explained earlier on how the red flag works. Davida, you're very welcome. It's good to see someone getting a sponsored month of membership. So yeah, it's going to be the battle of McLarens versus Peter Romeo, I think. Sandwiched in between McLarens.
Yeah, it's also very different driving styles. Having seen the two of them, the different cars, the McLarens definitely favour a much smoother driving style.
Yep.
The Aston is being, I can only describe, ragged around like a yob. It looks like it's being ragged like the GT4s are. It is moving around all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Now, again, different cars, different people. If it suits your driving style, which the Aston to some degree does like to move around quite a bit. It's a surprisingly heavy car for what is quite a small chassis.
Yep.
So it's reasonably happy moving around like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a case of horses for courses.
Absolutely.
On this one.
This is it's going to be an exciting rolling start. Let's say that for sure. And we'll try and do our very best to commentate on both GT3 and GT4 racing.
I was going to say I've just picked up the GT4 leader to watch them go through the start and
beautiful.
See if anything exciting ensues from there.
Yep. So the last race we had Paul Ricard, there was no red flag, which was interesting. So let's hope we get the same again tonight. I don't.
Everybody is nice and well behaved.
Absolutely. This is them now starting to bunch up, getting into their grid position, and getting ready to go.
Yeah, it's a short warm up lap here.
Absolutely. I certainly would say, for my preference, outside line is preferred to the inside line. So does P2 have a bit of advantage over?
That's a question and a half. Now, if you're on the outside and the guy on the inside has a bit of a wiggle and runs wide, you're getting collected.
Yep, absolutely. It's
But if you're running down on the inside, it's significantly tighter into that first corner.
And we have got a green light. We are racing. Edmondson keeps his P1 at the moment. Top 5 are certainly behaving themselves. Peter Romeo looking to try and get up the inside there of the McLaren. Does he get it under braking? Remember, the McLaren brake. He does. He gets that inside line through the hairpin. He moves himself up into P2. Remember, McLaren under braking, it's not the best car on the track. Oh, Peter going a little bit wide on the grass there, but already.
Ooh, 71. Looping it in the middle of the pack there.
Oh,
looks like he
Davida.
managed to get away unscathed, but he's now well off the back of the pace.
Oh,
I was going to say GT4's got away quite nicely.
Good.
The Ginetta has... The top 3 GT4s have managed to jump ahead of... Let's see which GT3 that is. One of the McLarens. Shaper in the McLaren has ended up dropping back behind the top 3 GT4s.
Oh.
That's not going to be an easy place to recover from, as the... well held from that Cayman as it went very sideways in front of everybody there.
We've already got a little bit of a gap between Peter Romeo and Garcia in P3. Looks like it looks like that Aston Martin is set up beautifully. He is keeping hold of Edmondson in P1 at the moment, trying to keep pressure on. The pack still quite close together, which is good to see. Just gliding over the curb as they power down to the hairpin. And again, Peter looking quite dangerous on the braking zone of that hairpin. Edmondson's going to have to keep his eye on it, but Peter again goes wide onto the grass. That's going to cost him a little bit of time with the Aston Martin. He keeps it tidier this time, but yeah, so Peter not only fighting but having to watch his mirrors as he got Garcia breathing down his neck for any mistake that he makes from that. Bataglan looks like he's lost a place to Ritz in the Belgium racing team, and it looks like there's quite a battle going on further down. Let's keep an eye on what is happening at the start. Hayden, yeah, absolutely. Peter is on fire. Probably much like his front left is going to be quite soon. But we've got the race. It's starting to spread out slightly now. Oh, Peter getting all kinds of sideways there as he comes over that crest. Is Peter's tyres, are they maybe not warm enough? Or, I mean, we don't know how far he's fueled either.
Yeah, it's possible he's going low fuel, lightweight to start with, and may very well, depending on, well, probably not, because I dare say there's no limits on tyres, but may very well, for this first stint, be going, stop it.
Sorry to interrupt there.
No, carry on.
3 of them wide onto the kitty litter, and Brackstad has moved up into P3. He has passed Garcia, who caught the worst of the sand as he was going round there. Now, it looks like Brackstad is now breathing down the neck. Peter seems to have dropped back slightly. I don't know, maybe his confidence has gone slightly with the way the car's been handling in the first 2 laps. But Brackstad has got the bit between his teeth, and he is going for this. He's coming into
his rears.
Yeah.
If he's overheat, if he's been sliding it around a lot, again, it's a track that will over. If you've been a bit aggressive on the warm up with high track temperatures, like I say, the Aston is not a light car. It will chew its tyres. So
Absolutely.
if he's just overloaded them a bit and they've gone up on temperature, yeah, that's not going to be fun.
No.
That's going to be hold back and try and drop some temperature.
Now, I think Peter's concentrating more behind him than in front of him. There's a 2.2 second gap now between P1 and Peter. Looks like he's a bit of the cork in the bottle at the moment. He's got these 2 McLarens. Certainly, Brackstad is filling his mirrors with that orange McLaren. Now, this is where Peter has a slight advantage.
That's Mundaisy and car 77 Lichten have looked like they're connected at the top of the circuit.
Oh, that is actually quite important. Lichten is down in last place at the moment with the GT4s.
And we have Shaper is also off down in the bottom of circuit. Looks like he's picked up some damage on the back of that car as well, so I'm not sure whether that was pushed or whether they jumped. Oh, that's somebody with absolutely no rear aero anymore. They've just gone into the last corner trying to get into the pits and have looped it before they've made it to the pit.
Oh no.
That car is not going to be fun to drive for the next few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Hayden, you love it when I make that noise. That, ooh. Yeah, George, Peter was pushing too hard in qualifying, so you wonder if he's doing the same. I think he is. I think he has to. I think that Aston, he needs to work it as hard as he can to try and stay ahead. You can see Brackstad is just there. He just needs Peter to end up in the grass slightly, slow him down. He just needs something. But Peter, we know Peter doesn't get flustered easily, and we know he's a very cool, calm, collected person. So again, he's taken the defensive line in. I think that's probably the best line more than being defensive, but these 2 McLarens are not giving up on him, and it's paying into Edmondson's hands. He's now 2.6 seconds ahead of the top 3 behind him. Just having a look to see who's close by. So at the moment, Callum Jones, it's Callum Jones, Hannock, and Gasolina in the top 3 of the GT4s. But Graham Potter is breathing. Oh, now Graham, don't know what went on there. Oh, the Alpine has went very wide. I think Potter is going to take that place. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. That Mercedes just looks so big compared to the Alpine, doesn't it?
It is such a very different piece of machinery.
Oh man, look how close Graham is. Literally could reach through that windscreen and touch the back wing of the Alpine just now. He's all over the back. This is for P3, so he really does want to keep the pressure on. I don't know if Gasolina just got things all kinds of wrong into the first turn and end up on the horrible grit that's on the outside there, but it's certainly pushed him right into this position.
It's that first one. Whilst the rumble boards are quite wide there, it's a big drop towards when you hit the gravel. So you get into there, if you're not expecting it, it just pulls you in. And
obviously your suspension is light as well as you leave the crest of the hill and then you come down, so your suspension's light, your steering's light.
If you get any kind of twitch on going down through there, you just have to hold the wheel in, hope the grip comes back. Because if you go and try and correct it when the car hooks up, it will spit you into the outside wall.
Absolutely. Davide Mandolese just making his way through the GT4s at the moment, trying to make up some places. Just looking to see, it looks like Miaza has just taken Verhulst for P9 in that Porsche. There's no change at the top. Oh, look how close this battle is. Oh, that McLaren. Oh my word. Pick your braking, let the car glide in. You can see the back end of that Aston Martin sliding all over the place.
It is a car, having driven it before, it is a car that you have to grab by the scruff of the neck. It is a big British cruiser of a car.
And also front engined as well, so you've always got that understeer feeling as well.
It will drag the car wide. It's not too bad. I was going to say, it's down 32 kilos from normal this race, so that will be helping quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that will have come out of the middle or the back of the car, so you've still got that big weighty engine out front.
Yep.
So that can make the car a bit more lively.
I would actually
than
say,
you would necessarily expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say Peter has better acceleration out the corners than the McLaren does at the moment. Certainly looking bit. At the moment, Garcia is wanting that third place back. He is not happy at looking the back of Brackstad's McLaren. This looks like it's going to go here. No, he's backed off at the moment.
You almost want to be slightly further away than you want to be coming out of there.
Yep, but now look at this.
Like Brackstad.
Yep, Peter is going really defensive there.
Right up in behind the nose. You almost want to hang back and make sure you get a good drive out the last couple of corners.
Absolutely.
Because then you can give them hell down into this first corner, or just even drag past them on the straight if you get good enough drive out the corner.
Yep. Hard, heavy into the braking here. Look how close he manages to get.
It's not. Whilst that is a hairpin, and normally that's the sort of place you'd likely to see dives, the braking zone for that corner is actually really short because you're going uphill.
Yeah.
So much like Kota, the first corner at Kota, it's actually a really short braking distance going into there. So you can certainly close in a lot. Whether we'll see much in the way of moves will be that to be seen. And here we go, we are now starting to catch up with the back end of the GT4s. This is what we were saying earlier about traffic will cause you problems if you are quick.
Absolutely.
It can also give you a lot of time as well.
Just looking further down, got Dexter Cray in that 296. Oh, try and get past the 296 of Fast in the Belgium racing team. Dexter with a police livery. Oh man. Dexter is head steward within TOGA and is also racing tonight. So,
oh, that's
yeah,
brilliant.
that is actually quite funny. I think he needs to get some pelters for that. Pateron now looks like he's caught up with the GT3s and trying to work his way through. He is behind Ritz of the Belgium racing team as well, so both BRTs having to defend and try and keep them behind. Peter Romeo's been overtaken. Let's have a look back at this replay. Oh, yeah, the McLaren just gets such a better drive. And then up to the hairpin, and the McLaren
They're going at
Brackstad.
it on the way down.
Yeah.
Around the outside, going through Sheen. Oh,
Peter not
held
letting
it.
us go. He now has
Romeo
Garcia.
is not letting that go easy.
No. And
He's
look
not
at this.
letting that go easy. And now this is going to be the challenge. They're
This is-
too wide in front of them with the GT4s.
Oh, no! No!
Oh, that's a 50.
Oh, the McLaren and
no.
Garcia gets
Garcia's
punted.
gotten.
Garcia gets punted. Oh, my word. Let me
What is
try and
that
get
called?
back to this.
Oh,
Looks like that, yeah, the green and black and McLaren outbraked himself. Oh no! What an impact! Oh, Garcia. He must be absolutely gutted about that. Gonna have a look back. Oh! Now, Brackstad went wide. I don't know if that was because of GT4 or not, but that has allowed Peter Romeo to take back second place.
those that were collecting, I don't know if there's further damage or they're just flustered, because Spleen has been having issues and was also spun down at the bottom of the circuit as well.
Ouch. That's a heavy impact on that McLaren. This
Seeing
is...
some of the,
Sorry, on you go, Zita.
I was going to say, seeing some of these cars coming back round that were caught up in that, there is looking like there is some rather unhealthy looking bodywork.
Oh, we've got contact again between GT4 and a GT3. McLaren of Verhulst. Porsche manages to get past the Alpine. There's two Alpines
Oh,
fighting.
that is a sad looking Alpine.
It's like, oh, he actually taps the back end of the Porsche and then hits the Alpine. Oh my word, the stewards have just thrown a hissy fit. They're not.
Oh, they are not going to be having fun with that
They're
one.
not. No, they were having to put down their sandwiches and their drinks, so they are. But this is major. Bataclan's lost a place by the looks of it, or has he just taken a place? And he's maybe just passing one of the GT4s by the looks of it. Brackstad try and pull that back, but there is a gap now. I mean, Edmondson is now 6 seconds ahead. If he continues at this pace, by the time the pit window opens, which...
I think it may have done by the looks of things. Yeah, pit window is open. So we have
Yep.
Wonder who has already made their pit stop. So I don't know if that was damage induced or
Yeah.
not, but they have at least got out of there. So anybody that is still carrying damage, then you may be able to get a bit of an undercut on them to just get in and get out.
Mm-hmm. The Verhulst certainly was damage related. So I'm looking for... I think we have some penalties getting handed out. So this is a race. We've got car 71 not leaving enough space. So that's a 5-second penalty. We've then got 2 5-second penalties for car 91. Turns in, leaving no space. I don't know who 91 is. That's Graham Potter. We've got a 15-second penalty for car 202, which is Mass in that Audi, and that's causing an incident with 2 cars, then dangerous rejoin, almost causing collision with Mandalise. Oh, Ollie, see if you're listening, can you not put things like that? I can't read that out. We've got a 5-second penalty for car 22, outbreaks causing a collision. Now, is that one of the top ones? No. Just having a look. See, 22 is Moberg in the Alpine. So there's plenty for the stewards to be looking at the moment. Those penalties will be getting applied forthwith. So if the lights
Anybody that hasn't pitted, it will be added to the next pit stop.
Absolutely.
And then anybody that doesn't will be at the end of the race, I presume.
Yes, that is correct. We now have Garcia is into the pits. Van der Spew and Sleen and Dexter Cray are all in the pits. That's an early pit. Now, I think Edmondson waited quite near the end of the pit window last time to pit. At the moment, he's not under huge pressure. Peter Romeo getting all onto the grass there. Bragstad right on his bumper now. Bragstad can't.
Again, he's definitely looking flustered.
They are side by side going in here. He's backed off quite rightly. He's got a Porsche GT4 ahead. A little bit of oversteer as he exits the corner there. Look at this for action. Blue flag's been waved. Bragstad all over the back.
Slightly, but the GT4 moved to the inside, so that was a 50-50 as who was going to come out with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Another Ginetta now. Ginetta is allowed to take a racing line.
I was going to say that Ginetta, we haven't mentioned it very much. It's currently leading its class, and quite honestly, it's just stuffed off at the front of the front of the race.
Unfortunately, both leaders have not really had much airtime because everything's been kicking off behind.
Everything else is going on behind him.
I think that happened last time in Paul Ricard. Edmondson literally got no airtime because he was 20 odd seconds ahead, so he needs to slow down a bit and then he'll get a bit more airtime. But Bragstad has pulled that back, so he was a second off of Peter Romeo just a couple of laps ago. So that shows that McLaren can be faster.
It can be fast. Again, how much of that was traffic and how much of that was...
Yeah, absolutely.
Was natural pace, because clearly Romeo is giving it everything, going and doing yet more rally crossing.
Yeah, and that's Bragstad now side by side. Oh, not quite.
That's a tough place to go up the inside of.
Yeah, I think that was more just to try and put him off as he chooses his line to get into the corner. But these two drivers are experienced, so they are. So I don't think we'll see any Punterinos getting sent at any point for this. Elias Fernando now pits as well in his McLaren. Again, Peter looking a little bit slow. Peter is on the edge with this car. I mean, we've spoken about it. He literally is on track limit every single corner, just try and keep that orange McLaren behind him.
Yeah, he's having to properly rag the daylights out of that car. Having said that, McLaren runs wide on the exit going up there as well. Yep,
Bragstad getting a bit too excited or a bit too. I mean, we've all been there where you start getting frustrated because you can't get past a car you know you can be quicker than.
If you're, knowing you're quicker than somebody and being stuck, this is one of the worst tracks for it.
Oh, yeah.
The British Park tracks are awful for it because they are so narrow and have nowhere to go. You can't just run a little bit wide and get a bit of extra drive out of a corner. There's nowhere to go. You run wide here, you're in the grass, you're in the weed.
And you just need to look at Snetterton and Alton Park for that kind of thing as well. They are prime examples. Very little overtaking space and lots of danger for you to collide with the barriers. So
yeah, I was going to say, I want to say it was Snetterton or one of the other UK tracks. A number of years ago, there were a couple of places where they didn't. This is going to sound weird. They didn't have Armco, but it was a wheat field.
Oh.
Or a cornfield, and we were watching some British touring cars, and they genuinely were just pulling like corn husk out of the grill.
Doing a little bit of ploughing for the farmer.
Pretty much, and there was no Armco to hit. They just ended up in a field.
Oh man.
So yeah, no, there really is. It's always spectacular watching this, watching the cars go around these tracks, because it really does sort out those that use the bits of the track that you shouldn't use to make up lap time versus those that can keep it within the lines.
Absolutely, and both BRT cars into the pits, Ritz and Fast and P7 and P8 at the moment, so they've pitted. There's just over 16 minutes left of the pit window. If you were Bragstad, Zita, would you go for an early pit?
If I've got the tyres underneath me, I might be inclined to push the Aston. push the Aston and make it burn its tyres out completely. It's mean. It's really mean. But if you can hold on to the back of them,
Yep.
and you're able to save your tyres,
Mhm.
and you can just force them to make mistakes and burn their tyres up so they're just slowing down, and make their life tough, you're going to knacker them out, so by the time they get back out of the pits,
Yep.
you're still fresh.
Absolutely. And it is racing at the end of the day. Tactics come into it.
It very much is. So if you can force them to the point at which, and because again it's that who's quicker. If you're out on tyres that are already up to temperature and pressure, you might be able to make up lap time on somebody who's just come out of the pits because they're trying to get their car up to speed.
Yep.
Now, it's less of an issue here because the tyres come out fairly warm already. But there is still a lap or two of getting everything. Ooh, that was a very sideways Cayman. Doesn't look like they've made it out of that. Nope.
Peter Romeo, four-wheel sliding. Oh, as a Porsche just went off in front of him as well. So
yeah, I was just saying that the Porsche, the Cayman had got it a bit sideways there.
Peter Romeo is trying. Oh, he was desperate to get past that Audi before the corner onto the straight. It has now pushed him right into the grasp of Brakstad. Brakstad now just filling those mirrors, trying to do anything to distract him any way he can. You see Peter takes a tighter line in there in the braking, so Brakstad just easing off slightly.
I'm not sure if that's defensive or that might be just the way the Aston runs because it goes so light over that crest.
Yep.
It's gonna run a lot wider than the McLaren is because it's just the front end's just that much heavier. So he may have to turn in that little bit earlier just to make sure he doesn't end up in the weeds.
Yep. This is wheel-to-wheel fighting, and this has been
20... This has been the last 24 and a half minutes.
Exactly. It started at the start-finish line, and it has just continued. There's been no let-up for Peter Romeo at all from this, and you can see at times Peter's pushed the car beyond the limits. McLaren getting a little bit pointy going in the... Whoa! And Peter, what a move! Gets past that Porsche into the corner, causing Brakstad to wait until he gets onto the exit. That is giving Peter...
Oh, that's giving the break. That's giving him some breathing room.
Absolutely. That is some tactics used there by Peter to use the GT4s as a way of eking out a little bit of time. Now the top 5 have still to pit as yet. You can see there's still, it looks like Peter Romeo's coming up behind the leader of the GT4. In fact, it's not. Callum Jones further down the grid, but it looks like he's pitted. So, yeah.
Yes, Jones has pitted. So, is... The fastest of the GT is still leading
after the pits.
Those that have pitted from the GT4, so should cycle back to the top, but we'll see where cars are as they go through later into the race.
Absolutely. Gasolina is leading at the moment, but still has to pit, so we will watch with bated breath for this. Peter just not getting any space at all. As soon as he creates any gap, Brakstad closes it and is back on his bumper again. Alpine all over the place. Peter having to go into the grass a little bit just to get past, and Brakstad makes sure he doesn't get caught out as he did in the last lap. He gets past that Alpine before the corner, keeping that pressure on. Peter a touch of the brakes as he's getting round, and Brakstad has pitted. Brakstad into the pits. Peter Romeo must be sighing some relief at the moment to see that. Can he now pull out some of the fastest laps he's ever done in his life?
Well, they were coming up to a cluster of GT4s, so it may be that he's opted to back out now and try and get some clear track when he comes back out, because looking at that, the next car that may be a problem is this number 77 Garcia in the GT4, and 226 who is, when I can find the right buttons to make this all work. Is Garcia going to be, Brackstad going to be out the pits before then? Doesn't look like it. This looks like it may not have worked. They're going to be coming out into the middle of that. Good. Potter is the next car who's just going past now. So
Yep.
that may not have quite worked out as was it hoping to come out into some clear track, but it is one GT4 with quite a bit of space around it. So
Yep.
not the worst situation. Whereas Romeo is still in the midst of a big pile of traffic. So this may be some tactics to try and get a little bit of extra time not having to battle through.
And just as you were talking there, Jones gets past Donkervolt to take P1 in the GT4 again. He did it so easily. That Ginetta looked like it was in a different class to the Alpine altogether. So Jones absolutely driving the way we always expect him to drive beautifully. Garcia down in 13th after being in P3, fighting for the top positions. Edmondson has come into the pits. Edmondson is in, releasing Peter Romeo into P1 now. Does Peter, he's got 9, just under 10 minutes of the pit window. Does he try and keep going, or he has some GT4s behind him, which is going to cause some issues for Edmondson, but Edmondson had such a big lead.
Yeah, because they're now up around the top of the track.
Yep.
It's kind of evenly spaced at this point between a lot of the cars on track, so where was, I've just lost track of who was where. Edmondson is back out on track now and is going around the bottom of the circuits. They're kind of opposite each other. This could be an interesting one to how this plays out. Edmondson has got a lot of space in front.
Yep.
So can very much for the next probably 2 or 3 laps maybe. Maybe lap can really get the hammer down. Whereas Romeo is still stuck in amongst a bunch of traffic and has not opted to pit.
He has not, he has stayed out.
This is looking tricky. I think may just be running long and just has committed to a strategy that may or may not work.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, he's going to be running with less fuel near the end, but he obviously
not sure
had...
that car's got pace to be able to make that work.
And that means Peter has been driving either with a very, not a very full tank, but with more fuel than maybe some of the others round about him, which would explain why he was really pushing and having to fight the car. He looks a lot more controlled now that he doesn't have the pressure of the McLaren right on his bumper. He's hitting all his apexes, he's hitting his exits, he's getting past the GT4 smoothly. You don't see the same issues.
Flustered.
Yes,
Yeah, he's not looking as flustered in the car as he did earlier. Is that just putting a lap on the Porsche? I believe it is.
Can I also just say Garcia has set the fastest lap in P11 at 1:23.7.
That is a bean on a mission.
Absolutely.
that is a bean on a mission to...
If I can't get P1, I'm going to get the fastest lap.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a wiggle coming out there. That is somebody on a mission to right the wrongs of earlier.
Oh yes, absolutely. Now Edmondson is already taken 2 seconds off of Peter Romeo since he's come out of the pits, getting past the GT4s beautifully, and Brackstad 14.5 seconds behind Edmondson. So yeah, Peter Romeo's last lap was a 1:25.8. Edmondson's just on a 1:24.5, so he's over a second a lap faster than Peter Romeo.
I think somebody might have to pit.
Yeah, I think
and just deal with whatever they come out into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moberg having a bit of a moment down at the bottom of the circuit as well. Didn't entirely see what it was, just saw it flick up as a yellow flag.
Yep.
And recovering. Can I just say, it is very cool with the lights on the front of that Alpine. They've got the X's on the fog lights, so it looks like they've got the old teeth on them.
Yep. I don't see any of the and Peter's into the pits. In comes Peter, so let's keep an eye on Samuel Brackstad just now.
Brackstad and Edmundson, where are they? They are Brackstad's just coming off Pilgrim's Drop, and Edmundson is coming up to a couple of GT4s, but is just coming onto the pit, about to come around the last corner now, so it will lose out to Edmundson. Whether they will lose out to Brackstad is another
So there's some
question.
further penalties. Elias Fernando's got a 15-second penalty for making contact with car 223 and car 76. Car 223 has got an unsafe rejoin, looks like a 10-second penalty. 226 has got a 5-second penalty, and car number 4 has got a 10-second penalty as well. So Brackstad has just come out ahead of Peter Romeo. Sorry.
Brackstad they were side by side basically as they came out the pit. They have, just as you were going through that, we were following it, they came out.
Brackstad in behind the GT4, and he's lost out again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is painful. Samuel,
GT4s just have to pick a side, and if it's not your day, it's not your day.
Absolutely, the GT4 was absolutely bang on. There was no complaint from me about the GT4's driving.
We
but
have car 2 720 off, looked very heavily damaged. Off at just before Sterling's.
Shaper, he's had a few issues.
Yeah, not had the easiest of races.
Certainly not. But I'm frustrated for Brackstad because that's now twice that Peter Romeo has outfoxed him with tactics. In terms of GT4 placing where your car is and how you want to get past.
Yes and no. The GT4 can go one side or the other.
Yeah.
It's almost 50-50 as to where you go. If you're the one that gets checked up behind it, there's not a lot you can do.
No, there's no.
It's well played by Romeo to be able to see that and to use that to your advantage.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the GT4s can't just disappear.
No, absolutely no. They're here to race at the end of the day, you know, and
it's their own race. They are, at the end of the day, they are racing. They are racing each other, so.
Miaza is fighting with Ritz for P6 at the moment. Miaza in that Porsche. Not quite enough to get past the 296 at the moment. I don't know why the penalties aren't shown. That's... I don't know. The stewards will be busy doing their thing, but certainly that's what I can see on the stewards form anyway. Another Alpine just getting out of the way. Does Brackstad get past it before? He does just. Almost a second between them, and it's 15 seconds between Edmundson in P1 and Peter Romeo that we're watching in P2. Verhulst very close to the back end of that Porsche of Van der Spee. Shown himself in the mirrors. Just not quite enough to get past as they go on to the start finish line. We've got an Alpine ahead of him again. I feel like I've just been saying Alpine all night.
Quite a few of them racing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in. There's 4 of them in a class of 12, so...
Okay, that makes sense. We're also looking at Van den Broek, who is on the bumper of that 488 just now. That Lambo looks like it's had a bit of damage to it. Oh, it's an Alpine off! Oh! How did
That
they
was a big hit.
miss that? Let's go to Helicam for that. Oh, surely their races must have flashed before their eyes coming round this corner. And then this Alpine, there was nothing the driver could do. Oh,
Exit
wow.
stage right.
Absolutely. Into the
That was a big hit in the
danger zone. That was well driven by both drivers for that. What?
Yeah, it's very easy in that situation to suddenly slam on the brakes and the car behind you doesn't know what's going on, and you make the whole situation worse.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to choose 3 drivers from GT3 and 3 drivers from GT4 for you, the viewers, on Twitch and YouTube to decide who your drivers of the day were for GT3 and GT4. So, Zita, I would like to put Peter Romeo forward because I think he has had an outstanding race to stay where he is. For that, have you got someone, a driver in the GT3 class that is...
We haven't mentioned them much since the start, and that's Garcia.
Yes,
The
I
question
agree.
of what could have been there. Sat there with the fastest lap of the race that's still... there we go, there's a pit window closed. Everybody has made that. Yeah, we haven't seen very much of them. They've been just plugging away. They've plugged their way back up to 11.
Yep.
From pretty much the back of the grid after a first couple of lap incident. And that's not bad going, especially considering how fast the pace has been for this race.
Yep. So
yeah,
yes,
that is impressive. They've just kept their head down and kept going.
Absolutely. And it can be so frustrating when you're getting taken out.
Ooh, 720 off again, sorry, at the top of the circuit. Okay. Having a bit of a loop.
Right, okay, so Romeo, Garcia, who would be your third choice for the GT3s?
I am struggling a little bit to choose somebody.
Yeah, no, so am I. I don't know, well, do you know what? Miazza has got past Ritz now and up into P6 with that Porsche. I actually do want to say, but someone's had a disconnect. Ritz has had a disconnect from the game.
Oh.
That is a shame to see. Do you know what? I'm going to put Brackstad in as well, because as much as he's been fighting most of the race, and it's been clean fighting, so...
It has been extremely good. It has been so clean. He's now still just hanging on to the coattails there. It has been very good racing.
So on
very
YouTube,
clean, very nice.
You have the option of choosing your driver of the day. Twitch, your poll is just going live as well. There you go. So both polls are now live. I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and then we will choose GT4 drivers for driver of the day. We certainly can't look past Callum Jones as one of them.
I was going to say, incredibly clean race. Incredibly clean race. That's not an easy thing to do around here in a single class race, let alone multi. Ooh, car 71.
Oh, yep.
Ooh,
Mandalisi.
Car 71. Mandesi not having a fun time there. Looks like he might have lit a rear tyre up on the curb and gone into the barrier on the other side.
Yeah. Oh dear. Poor David.
Not having a fun day.
Not having a good day.
Looped at the start of the race and has just been plugging away back up.
I have to say, Lichten has done well to get back to where he is. He's what, 6th? Considering he was last.
And that car starting to look almost as sad as its emoji. Paint job.
So I think Jones and Lichten. I'm trying to see who else has. I think Graham. What about Graham Potter? Graham was he was certainly fighting battles earlier on. He's currently sitting in, what, P4? So...
Has just picked up 10 seconds worth of penalty, so...
He has. So that's the penalties. Oh my goodness, there's a Ginetta facing the wrong way. How did he miss that? Wowzers. That was... Yeah, so Mandalisa getting a 5-second penalty. I'm just going to see if that's something from earlier. Yeah, so that's the first 5-10 minute penalties starting to come in now. So car 25 has got a 5-second penalty as well. That's Miazza. So he's got a 5-second penalty to deal with at the end of the race. So Davide now up to 10-second penalty, 15-second penalty. It's just not been a good day for Davide.
20 seconds. Now up to 20 seconds.
Oh man.
Potter's got 10, Mass is up to 15, and Moberg's got 5.
So that's all of them coming in, yeah. So, yeah, it's... yeah. And Elias now, he's getting his 15-second penalty. So that 15 seconds for Elias, it's going to drop him down into 5th. It would promote Stephen Fass and the BRT team up to P4. Verhulst very, very close to Miazza. Look at this, side by side, almost going down the straight. McLaren with the outside line.
I mean, if you're not good on the brakes, the last car you want to be coming up against is that Porsche.
Yes, it certainly is. Looked like Gasolina had gained a position there, but certainly doesn't look like it. Callum is doing well, Joshua. He really is. He's ran an outstanding race, and unfortunately he's had no airtime because he's just been
unbelievably clean, unbelievably uneventful race, which to some degree is kind of what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. He's almost 7 seconds ahead of P2 at the moment, so he is doing really well. Darryl, good evening from Stuart's room. We have been busy. Yes, I've had a look at the spreadsheet. You just need to look at the rows of red that we have on screen. You just have been busy. That was Ollie that obviously jinxed you because he asked for a quiet race. Oh, Porsche. Oh, looks like Miazza has lost his position. Oh, McLaren all over the place as well. He just hangs on to that. So Verhulst up to P7 now. But that Porsche is all over the back of the McLaren.
Yeah.
You can hear the tyres complaining bitterly. And it is a bit of a tyre management phase. We're in just over 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, what have you got left?
Yeah.
If you've got anything left that you've saved from earlier, or to some degree is what Romeo did earlier, and has now come back out late on with a fresh set of tyres and not a whole lot of fuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll definitely have a bit of an advantage there.
Joshua on YouTube, yeah, he's a mega driver, he's your practice partner. I would hate to try and practice with Callum. And Miazza takes back P7.
2 down on the inside of the first corner. And who was that out? 22 also ran wide. Coming out of first corner as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw the Audi of the GT4s going very sideways.
Oh,
something's happened. Braxad is now 8 seconds behind Peter Romeo.
Wow.
Something I've missed something, obviously.
Something that we've met, yeah. Anybody else watching what's going on has spotted that, then
yeah, could tell us what
please let us know.
We missed. Oh, Verhulst, heavy impact into the barriers.
Yeah, I think we're also starting to see that 50 minutes of basically qualifying laps is starting to take toll on the drivers as well.
It is, yeah,
we're seeing
absolutely.
More mistakes. Again, as I say, that Braxton goes wide. Just more mistakes starting to creep in because you're getting tired.
Yeah.
It's endurance racing is one thing, being able to run stint after stint as consistently as you can. When you've got races like this where it is you and the car and whatever happens on track, and there is no margin for error because any mistake will cost you.
Yep.
Yeah, it does make quite a big it does take a toll on you.
Absolutely. I need to finish this poll first. So in poll, let's see how we got on. Ches, you're happy you managed to catch the end of the race? That's awesome. So it is. Right, let's start poll for the GT4 driver of the day. Oh, I can't spell. Oh, sausage fingers.
Gasolina forward for that one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Good choice.
Because when we have seen racing, has been racing very, very cleanly and has managed to keep out of reasonable amounts of trouble with the GT3s when they come past.
Okay, so you poll for driver of the day. So Peter Romeo won driver of the day by 66%. That is awesome. We'll be sure to tell him when we speak to him in the driver interviews. Don't forget, we speak to the drivers afterwards and have a chat with them. And I spelled Jones's name wrong in the poll, so I'm doing well tonight. Oh, I'm sure I've spelled Lichten's name wrong as well. Everyone should be used to me by now with my strange spelling of things. So there you go, that's the two polls that's left. Garcia's not letting us go. He is on the charge to get a top 10 finish, maybe even break into the top 9. He's very close to Verhulst just now. Now Verhulst has got quite a lot of damage to that McLaren. Look at it, and he gets past him.
I think that might have been a case of knows you can't fight it, so
Yep.
just pick up whatever place you get.
Absolutely.
Slash was having to check up behind the Ginetta as well.
Yep.
So
Garcia is Garcia
combination
deserves.
of
He absolutely deserves the highest place he possibly can get. It's he was so unlucky at the start of the race, and unfortunately he doesn't carry the fastest lap now. But Edmondson with a 123.535 fastest lap as he starts his final lap. This has been a drive and a half. He's 17 seconds ahead of Peter Romeo, which is no mean feat. And
no.
Peter is 10 seconds ahead of Samuel Brackstad. So
wow.
that is.
I can only assume that was lost touch through traffic.
Yeah, and as you said, Brackstad, and very, very quickly, what you say, oh, is a McLaren wrong way? That's Brackstad. Is that Brackstad? No.
That is...
No, that can't be Brackstad.
76...
Oh,
Celine?
Right, okay.
Got tangled up there.
Yeah.
Oh, and we've got 25. Oh, 25's ended up in the wrong... pointing the wrong direction as well.
Dear. So Zita had touched on this earlier on. It's not just the mental capacity for 50 minutes. It's direct drive wheels. Now, I've went from a Logitech G29 to a Fanatec DD1, and it's only 5 Newton meters. But see, if I do a 30-minute race, my shoulders and arms are killing me by the end of it because of the change. So, yeah, it's physical, it's mental. People say, oh, it's only sim racing. It's not only sim racing. And here we go, Edmondson with the checkered flag to take P1. That is...
Go. And Jones followed in suit just behind as well. So.
He did. It was a beautiful moment for both the winners there. So absolutely outstanding. Peter Romeo, a very well deserved P2 as he comes over the line, and Brackstad just finishing onto the start finish straight.
What have we got going on here? We have Garcia and hang on. Celine's finished. Garcia's still.
I don't know.
That's not what you want to see.
I don't know what that was all about.
I have no idea what happened there. Who was that?
I don't know. It was another orange-coloured McLaren. That's the best I can... I don't know if it was Celine, maybe?
Celine's finished, so I can only assume...
I wonder if he finished and then thought he could do a donut or something.
Yeah.
And didn't realise that people were still racing.
Yeah, you don't do it that far around the lap.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I wonder if his stewards will have a look at that later on anyway, to decide that that was a naughty thing to do. But
like Ritz packed out. Oh no, Ritz had disconnect, didn't they?
He had disconnect, yeah, unfortunately.
So it's just Garcia to come
just
across the line now?
Take a bow, Mr. Garcia, because you have driven a great race. So you have 33%.
Very well done to all involved there.
Absolutely. Yeah, well done to everybody. That was an immense race for GT3s and GT4s at the end of the day. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the driver interviews now. Drivers will be grabbing a break. They'll be doing whatever they can to hydrate, maybe cool themselves down. We'll see who wants to speak to us. Normally Peter Romeo, David Mandalisi are usually ones that like to pop in and have a quick chat. But yes, and thank you so much to everybody. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. I know I haven't said it tonight. I normally nag you 3 or 4 times, but absolutely smash that like button. If you're on Twitch, then please consider hitting that follow button and maybe subscribe to support the channel. You can become a member on YouTube as well for the cost of a coffee. And sometimes it's less than a coffee depending on where you buy your coffee from. But yeah, so we have Mr. Peter Romeo. I think we should speak to Peter first because he had a drive and a half. So he did. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening.
Wow, what a race.
Absolutely.
My. How did you manage to stay in P2 for 50 minutes?
I don't know.
Like... I genuinely, there was points in the first 10 laps, I thought, there's no way you can keep this pace up, especially with a McLaren directly behind you. I mean, are you more tired now than you were with Paul Ricard, or?
Definitely. I'm sweating like hell.
And Samuel kept you very true to the very end.
I have to say very thank to Samuel. It was absolute joy to fight with him because it's such a fair driver.
Yes.
It's absolutely great. Absolutely pleasure.
Yeah, we mentioned that during the stream. How and I know both of yous. Zita's obviously her debut. So, but like I know both of yous are clean drivers, regardless of how fast or where you are in the pack.
I have to apologize to some GT4s because I overtake them a bit harsh today, but I wanted this P2.
I want to say your tactics today were spot on. Twice you outsmarted Samuel by getting past the GT4 before a corner and causing him to then have to slow.
Yeah,
I take it.
I have to take the inside line. So if he's going the outside, because GT4 has to go to the outside line, and I know that's my chance, the only chance I have today.
Yeah, absolutely. That was amazing. So it was the
absolute pleasure.
Sorry, I just have to quickly say thank you very much to Acason and Twitch for donating £10 to the Essex and Hertz Air Ambulance. Thank you so much for that. That's very kind of you.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, I mean, wow, you looked like you were on the limit every single lap.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there were times you were four-wheel drifting over curbs. I mean, the car wasn't even pointing in the right direction at times.
That's normal with the Aston or Brands Hatch. You have to drive it like that.
And Zita had beautifully said earlier, you need to drive the Aston. It's like riding a bull. You need to grab it by the horns and force it.
Exactly, on the Brands Hatch especially.
Yeah. Oh man.
I have to say thank you. Also, great race for Atmussen. It's absolutely.
Oh.
I think it's sandbagging at the front. I think it makes the quality with a fuel tank. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, he was 20 odd seconds ahead of you. You know, we kind of knew
too many mistakes.
How did you feel coming out the pit exit when you were literally side by side with Samuel?
I hope this going well.
Do you know what? I know poor Edmondson won it, but really the race we were watching was you and Samuel. It was an amazing race, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the replay.
I really will watch the replay. Of course I will.
Absolutely. You also won Driver of the Day as well.
Okay.
So you did with 66%. So that was awesome, and it was an amazing race. Do you want to say anything, Zita? Is there any questions you want to ask or anything you want to say?
Very well done. Like I say, it looked like an unbelievably physical race for yourself in that Aston.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
driven that car around there. I'm not nearly as quick as you, and I know how hard it is. So, hats off, well and truly, to hang on to that thing. Because quite honestly, that's what it looked like you were doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you feel about Misano? How is it?
Not so well, because I don't know the track very well.
Oh, okay.
I don't drive it very much.
Right. Okay.
So we will see.
Well.
Maybe it's a drop run. Who knows?
Absolutely. Okay, Peter. Listen, you go dry yourself off and have a cool drink.
I will.
You deserve it. Thank you very much again.
Thank you for the stream. It was again a great pleasure with you both.
Oh, no problem, Peter. Thank you. Take care.
Bye bye.
Oh man, right, okay, I'm going to bring Samuel in. Would you like to speak to Samuel, Zita, and I'll shut up for a little bit and...
Can do.
Okay, here we go.
Can see what happens?
Yeah.
Good evening. Well on P3 for that one.
Yeah, thank you.
How was that for you? It looked like you were having quite the fight for the most part with Romeo.
Yeah, it was a really nice fight with him. Like, I think we were fighting from the start.
How was it when you came out the pits? Basically side by side with each other.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it before I went into the corner, because like the pit is behind the wall, like the fence. So when I went in the corner, I just saw that I had a car on my side. And I quickly had to stop steering so I didn't hit him.
Now, you were hanging on to his coattails pretty much the entire race, barring the split around the pit stops. What happened right at the end? Because you suddenly dropped off massively.
Yeah.
Not long after the pits.
Yeah, I just had no luck with the GT4s. It was like an army of cars.
Yeah, that's always the way with with multi-classes. Sometimes it swings your luck, sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, very well done on all of that. Very well done on the racing, and yeah, did not look like it was particularly easy. What was it like behind the wheel then?
Yeah, what?
What was it like behind the wheel, chasing down for the entire race?
It was nice. I was actually kind of chill, just like staying behind, trying to make moves, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. You drove a tremendous race, Samuel. There was times I thought you were going to get past, and then your luck wasn't with you for some of the GT4s where Peter got past and you didn't, in corners and things. But yeah, absolutely outstanding race. As I said to Peter, we watched you guys fighting more than we did anyone else, because it was just lap after lap. Did you think you were faster than him? Like, if you could go up past him?
In the start, I was faster than him, but after pit stop, he was a little bit faster.
Yep. That's understandable. So it is. But yeah, no, congratulations, Samuel. It was a hard-fought P3 for you, but well done. You drove a tremendous race.
Yeah, appreciate it.
No problem. Take care of yourself, Samuel.
Yeah, thanks. You too, guys.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Right, okay, let's speak to the winner of the GT4, shall we? Good evening, Mr. Jones.
Hello.
Hello. Well, you won. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, on you go.
Oh, no, I'm very happy with that. It was hard work, let's say, yet again.
You didn't make it look hard work, I have to say. The times we were watching you, you were sailing past cars like they were standing still. I actually mentioned you looked like you were in a different category, that you were like a GT 3.5. How did you find the race? Did you enjoy it to start with?
I did enjoy it, yes. The car felt slightly odd on whatever setup I'd managed to build, so I wasn't entirely confident coming in, but
right.
Qualifying was super close. Obviously, that was intense.
Yeah, with hundreds of a second between you.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then I basically, on the run round to the grid, I aggressively warmed my tyres up because I thought my best chance was to try and get in the mix with the GT3s and try and use them to hold both the Lucases back.
Yep.
Which did work, actually. Unfortunately, Lucas in the McLaren, I think, had some contact with one of those GT3s. But it gave me a gap for the first stint.
Yep, a little bit of breathing space to try and just settle everything down. And
exactly.
Yeah. When you pitted, was that your choice, or were you thinking of a different time that you were going to be pitting? Was there any kind of decision made about that?
No, I was pretty much going for about halfway.
Okay.
Unlike Paul Ricard, because I was obviously had to do something a bit different than Paul Ricard.
Yeah.
Here, it was a bit more standard.
Yeah, and it was, obviously Paul Ricard, it was car related. Why there was such a difference, but I mean, it really looked like your car was well suited for Brands.
It was well suited. I wasn't as happy with it actually, setup wise, as Paul Ricard. Oddly enough,
right? Okay.
But obviously it worked out, and the race pace was very, very good and very consistent. So
yeah, overall,
very happy. Obviously, winning the class. So.
Well, absolutely. Zita, you want to ask anything?
No, other than very well done on winning class. As I say, from what we saw, it looked fairly straightforward. Just got clear at the start and wasn't really bothered by much after that.
And
no, it was just worrying about the GT3s.
Yeah,
Lucas in the Porsche handled that through the first stint a lot better than I did. He got within about a second of me before he pitted. But the second stint, I think he had more trouble with the GT3s than I did. So that stretched the gap out.
And it looks like you will be P1 in the standings as well with the GT4, if my maths is correct.
I believe so, yes.
So yeah, that's good. I mean, we're in halfway the next race, which is Misano. Are you looking forward to that race?
I have not driven a GT4 around Misano, so that's going to be an adventure.
That will be an adventure.
We'll see how that goes.
Do you have much time to practice for it before next week?
Yeah, I should have enough time, yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, well, congratulations, Callum, and can't wait to see how you get on in the next race.
Thank you very much, both. And I look forward to, again, watching the stream back, as I always do, through the week. Cheers, guys.
No problem. Take care, Callum.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so...
I will say, before we get into person, that is one of the headaches you get with GT4s, is being the lower class to some degree. You're looking as back as much as you are forwards.
Exactly, yep. And
to watch out for those faster cars.
That's right, and if you get in a battle with someone of your own category, it really complicates things when you get a faster car coming up behind you both, because
if
you need to yield. but you
back
don't.
marker in a GT3 with a
Mhm.
lapping GT3.
Yeah.
Turn it up to 11 for GT4s.
Yep. Absolutely. The pressure is unbelievable. Right. Elias is here, so I'm going to hand you over to Elias, and I'll take a quick breather.
Hello. Very well done. How was that from your end of things, being behind the wheel?
It was pretty chaotic.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
It's
Just trying to remember where you finished because
I think it
closed
was
things down because everybody was leaving the stream.
I think it was P4 or P5. Was it Elias?
Yeah, it was P4.
P4.
Just...
Unfortunately, you did obviously get a penalty, which kind of it's always a downside when you finish a race. But how was your race? Because we didn't get a chance to see much of you with the battle between Peter and Samuel.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty tight with what was top 6 or first place ran away at the start, and we had a good battle. And then the GT4 came, and I braked a bit late and touched Fran Garcia. Took him out, and I thought the car behind me was going to overtake, so I tried to just make not too late, but the same as I would do normally, and that did not work. So I tapped him out, and the McLaren behind me also drove into Fran Garcia, and I had the GT4 on my left side. I tried to drive because I was off the track. And also the GT4 on my left, so I drove to the right and tried to get back on the track, but then I didn't know that the McLaren was on my right side, and I also took him out. So completely my fault. Didn't have a good awareness of where everyone was, just all the GT4s, and just got too many people at one place. In the tight corners.
Absolutely. It's I mean, we're used to seeing you slightly higher up. Is Brands Hatch a good track for you, or is it one that you kind of just put up with and deal with?
I do like the track, the layout, but the bumps, I hate it. It's way too much. The car is all over the place, sliding all the time when the tires are gone and you have no grip. Yeah,
absolutely. Sorry, Zita, I realise I kind of overtook your interview there.
No, that's absolutely fine. It's always the tricky thing when you've got lots of cars on a small track, is you all sort of find each other fairly quickly. So hopefully we can see slightly more from next round. But yes, it's always a tricky one. Always a tricky one. And again, always remembering knowing where everybody is. It's very easy, as you say, to not realise you've got a car on one side because you're looking on the opposite side.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Was your mum quite excited that she won the giveaway last week, by the way, Elias?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Oh man, I was actually telling it on stream because it was far too funny not to say it. So
yeah, I saw it.
Oh man, right? Okay, Elias, I'm gonna let you go and let you cool down. Good race again, and can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Right, okay. I'm going to let you speak to this one, and I am definitely going to shut up this time. This is Kinloch Vandersway. Here we go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well done on finishing. How was that from your end of things, from behind the wheel rather than behind the camera?
Well, I think the word chaotic comes to mind for a lot of drivers. I think that the tournament definitely and the championship is definitely very much wide open because of the GT4 cars, because one mistake and you're out. And I saw a lot of competitors as well touching and making mistakes with the GT4 cars, and it definitely puts a big variance in all everybody's skills, which is a good thing.
It does indeed. Brands is very much one that splits up those that can deal with traffic versus those that struggle, given just how narrow it is on both sides. Just the GT4s knowing where they can let people past, and the GT3s knowing where they can get past as well.
It is, and I don't know if the other guys spoke about it, but the tire wear was something.
No, I do know the track reasonably well, and did mention it a couple of times on stream. It's your left-hand tires get unbelievably boiled and melted off around the top of the circuit.
They do. My strategy before the race was to take it a bit easy and go pit earlier and get a bit of clean space and put in a few fastest laps and jump the guys ahead of me. And I pitted at 35 minutes, which was a little bit early, so I did about 25-30 minutes on a set of tires with 60 liters of fuel. So, yeah. So 10 minutes from the end, the Porsches were dancing.
Yeah, no, that's not an easy one around there. Yeah. Some of the it's not an easy track to hang on to. How was it defending from the Porsches?
Well, actually, what this track I think helps us from the guys. I think there's two guys in the championship, me and someone else that races Porsche. So it's not a lot of us that races with them. But the Porsche's Achilles heel is obviously at stop speed. So in this case, it wasn't that much of a limitation. But the Porsche's rear tire wear is obviously an issue. And I saw that, it came in 10 minutes from the end. Definitely came in as an issue for the car, so I had to play with brake bias a bit and play with the TC a bit. But from that point of view, I'm very glad I started 13th. I finished 7th, so it's my first race for
very well done.
Motorsport. Thank you. And being from a country far, far away, it also makes it quite special. It's my first top 10 finish for my first race, so I'm very happy with that.
Very well done. Keeping it as much as it may have been chaotic, you managed to keep yourself out of trouble, and that is 90% of motor racing in general, is just keeping yourself out of trouble. Make sure everybody. And it's surprising how many places you can pick up just by knowing when to back out. So very well done on that. Very well done on pulling that many places out.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Is there anything you wanted to add, Mac?
No, really. Just very well done, especially for your first race in TOGA. What time is it with you at the moment?
At the moment, it's 23:43. I'm in South Africa.
Ah, right. Okay. Excellent. That's good. So, is Misano a track that you're looking forward to next?
Misano is a personal favorite for me. I really enjoy Misano a lot. I was not really, I only broke into the 25s at quali.
Oh,
so
right.
It wasn't really a track for me that's a bit of a buggy. Misano is a track that I feel much more comfortable with. And good. Obviously, from the Porsche's point of view, it's low speed.
Yep.
Which with the Porsche guys, we really enjoy the low speed aspect of it because obviously it's where our strengths are, and we're really looking forward to it. I must say that this whole league and the professionalism from the community and from the stewards has really surprised me as world class, and I must say very well done to TOGA Motorsport for arranging such a top-notch event.
Oh, thank you very much. We always appreciate people that enjoy it. There is a lot of work goes behind the scenes, the stewards and Hayden, who owns the brand and everything that goes along with it. But we all love sim racing, so we just all love whether it's commentating, stewarding, racing. It's just great to see, and the GT3, GT4 battles are always just so good. So no, thank you very much for your comments, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week for your second race in TOGA.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the commentators as well, and everybody offering up their time. From a competitive point of view, we all very much appreciate it, and we appreciate the community as well, and everybody that's with it.
Oh, very kind of you. Thank you so much. And we will hopefully speak to you next week.
Speak to you guys next week.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Right, we've got one last person who's been wallowing in the undergrowth and the shadows. Mr. Commentator Cheese, how are you?
I mean, you could call me by my actual name.
but see if you look on the stream, it says Commentator Cheese on it.
I'm sure it does, doesn't it? I'm sure it does. I won't even bother opening it. I'm gonna take. I know you're a man of your word, so I won't even bother opening the stream.
Jay Matthews, thank you so much. That's very much appreciated. Julius, I appreciate you, but you will not see me rallying. How was the stewarding tonight after you jinxed yourself?
Well, as I'm sure, Jesus.
Oh man, that's how bad it is.
As I'm sure you saw with the influx of penalties with about 9.5 minutes left to go, we basically didn't stop the whole race.
Yep, it was chaotic.
Yeah. So just to give you a quick brief on how the race went from the stewarding point of view, we had 56 separate incident logs. 12 of those were in the first minute.
Oh. Ouchie, ouchie.
Then the spreadsheet got full, which meant that my race control stopped sending incidents to the spreadsheet, and my race control stopped logging incidents in the spreadsheet. So then I added 1,000 more rows. Then we had to use our new steward's race control, and we had to watch his, he had to screen share into the Discord, and we had to manually write out those penalties in a separate spreadsheet. And then by the time we'd finished doing those, we went back to the original spreadsheet, and there was another 10 incidents for us to look at.
Wonderful.
There was contact after the race. Like, the penalties just didn't stop the whole time. It was crazy.
I don't know if you're aware, but there was and I don't know what his intentions were, but there was a McLaren who either was going to try and do donuts, or I don't know what happened, but spun in front of someone that was still racing. I think it was into the third or fourth corner. So I don't know if that's logged or not, but it was...
wasn't logged from our point of view. I'm sure it'll be reported if it caused any major incident.
Yeah.
But to be quite honest, after having to mess around with the ACC replay system for the last hour, I think I'd probably rather not.
I wonder if we should have like the highest penalties in a race, because I think Elias Fernando would maybe end up with it. I think he ended up with the most.
I think if you look at an individual incident, the highest penalised incident was a 15-second penalty for the number 23 car.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was combined for two separate. So that was
Pateron, was it?
Elias.
Oh, was that
23 car? Because obviously the incident he talked about, we gave 10 seconds for the contact with the 223 car, and then 5 seconds for the contact with the 76 car.
Yeah.
I think the highest penalised driver overall was the number 71, Mandalasi. I think he ended up with 20 seconds.
He had
something like that. We saw it at the end of the race. It just picked up and up and up. It was like, oh.
Yeah, as I kept scrolling further and further down the sheets, there was just more penalties for it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I did feel almost bad because I'd go /TP5. Oh god, it's the 71 car again. It just felt like I never stopped giving him 5-second penalties for the last 10 minutes or so.
I'm not going to say what car this was, but there was a comment made by a certain steward that says "Vortex of danger, very silly." Vortex of danger. Me. What?
Have you not heard of the Vortex of
I
Danger?
haven't heard of Vortex of Danger, no.
Oh man, I've got some teaching to do in this league if people haven't heard of the Vortex of Danger.
Even we know what the Vortex of Danger is.
The Vortex of Danger is a very real and very silly thing to commit yourself to doing.
All right, okay.
It's what people call it's also known as a sticky nose. It's where you put the very front of your car kind of just alongside their rear tire and expect to be left room when you're not actually challenging for the corner.
Okay.
It's the same principle. It's just a different name for it. There are some brilliant videos on the Vortex of Danger.
Nice. I just saw it and I'm like,
guaranteed. Shoving your nose into that space is guaranteed, almost entirely guaranteed, unless the car next to you knows exactly what's going on, to end in a crash.
Yeah.
Vortex of Danger is very silly. I've committed the Vortex of Danger multiple times.
Oh, so have I. After you described that, I have as well.
It is very silly. Very silly thing to do.
Absolutely.
To some degree, if you've got a car that stops a bit quicker, it can be very easy to end up doing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from the steward's perspective. It was absolute chaos and mayhem.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, after your comment, you probably should. Next time, you should just maybe not jinx yourself so much.
Man, seriously, after there were only 4 penalties given out last week, I thought I was going to have a nice one, sit and chat with the stewards a bit, have a relaxed night with my cider, and then there was...
You're going to France with 2 classes of car.
Exactly.
What did you expect?
Then I opened the spreadsheet and there was already 12 reports, and I was like, "What's happened? It's been a minute." And then it just didn't stop from there.
Absolutely.
Just didn't stop.
David,
yeah, we averaged something like 1.2 contact forms a minute for the whole race, or something stupid.
Jeez, oh, David Amandalisi in the YouTube chat says, "Without me, this race would have been so boring for you. I made it for the
Without
stewards."
you, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. Without you, this race would have been so nice off the stewards, because, yeah.
And the thing, we're not used to David being in that position. You know, normally David is a very safe and fast driver, but unfortunately, you just get races like that. Exactly. Okay, right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Thank you so much for all the likes. Well done to all the drivers who are watching. We very much appreciate you showing up, having practiced, and raced the way you have. It's been a pleasure for me. And yeah, how did you find your debut commentary, Zita?
Well, that was quite an experience, I think, is probably the answer there. Yeah, I was expecting, having known what Brands Hatch is like, I was expecting some carnage and an action, and well, that's what we got.
We did.
I'm not sure. There were times I had to remember to breathe. There was so much going on.
Yeah, you'll also get a signature sound that you make. Ollie and myself make certain sounds when there's something that's going on, so you'll move into that era.
Yeah, there was a few squeals when we saw people getting it very wrong. Oh, that didn't go well.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we start doing commentary together, you will hear the full collection of Ollie noises.
Oh, wonderful. Please don't take this the wrong way. I look forward to it.
Oh man. Okay, right. Thank you very much to everybody who's been watching, and we will be back next week. But tomorrow night is a community racing, which Hayden will be in charge of, and that'll be 2 races, 2 separate races. So look forward to that, and we will catch you next week. It'll be myself and Ches that will be commentating next week, for the 3rd race of the championships. Until then, take care, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye bye.